Yo, we got a lot to get to. I mean, I don't even know how to put it any easier than that, any simpler than that. We have a shit ton to get to, and we don't have much time. I can't sit here for 30 minutes on the third day of baseball. There's so much that we're going to talk about throughout the year that I'm not going to knock you out in one just 30-minute dragged out video like that. Instead, we're going to go rapid fire and we're going to get through this thing. We got a couple of leads. We got a couple of locks. I want you to hit the thumbs up button. I want you to subscribe. I've got Bet365 money, Discord money. I've got it all, but I need your help first. Okay, that's it. I need just a little bit of help first. Let's dive into it. Shall we go to Tampa Bay, who just is not going to lose to Detroit? Right? I mean, we're pretty much under that impression right now. Tampa Bay is scoring runs better than anybody in the history of this game through 2 games. It seems, at least. Some of that is just when you host Detroit to open up. It's like having that homecoming game, except it's like 3 weeks in a row you're having homecoming. This is insane, but it's real. And there's nothing at all that Wentz, I mean, they might as well have Carson Wentz out there on the hill pitching against Springs. And that's really the reality of how bad and shitty things are for Detroit. And yeah, the unfortunate element of it is that you get to open up in Tampa. They're not giving up any runs to Detroit. They're scoring at will. What are we doing? All right, let's just keep it moving here. Rays on the run line. It's a lean, but Rays on the run line. Now, I'm not going to waste your time throughout doing a bunch of stuff here. We got to get through a lot of things, but my people in New Jersey, Colorado, Virginia, Ohio, 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Sign up, deposit $10, bet 1, and you'll get $200 immediately back. It's cool, it's easy, it's nice. It's going to take you 60 freaking seconds. That's it, that's all. Just that. All right, that's it. Let's keep it moving. Yankees. What are you going to do with this Yankees team here? They're taking on Ross Stripling and the Giants. You've got an interesting scenario that just played out late last night in that game where the Yankees take that L, right? They couldn't hold on. It's still difficult. I'm not going to put much pressure or emphasis or money on the Yankees bullpen right now. I'd like to target instead, and this is where I think Brito and Judge come into play here. That's all. Like, I want the first 5. I don't want the back end. I don't want the bullpen. I don't want Chance to come into effect. What you saw last night is probably not going to happen again 2 nights in a row, but it can. And we just saw it. And I think leaning on the first 5 money line for the Yankees is the best way to attack this game, knowing, of course, that you're putting the ball in the hands of Brito early on and you're asking Aaron Judge to get through 2 times, if not more, and do some damage there, and the ripple effect of him doing some damage there. So, yes, Yankees first 5 money line is our next lean. We move on. Baltimore, Boston. Cole Irvin has made the trip to Fenway. I don't know what you're going to get from a distance lengthwise from either of these guys and Houck as well. You've got a total here that sits at 9.5 if you shop. And I would strongly suggest that you go under. If it's a stretch out bullpen game, or if it's simply a guy getting 3 to 5 innings, probably 4 to 5 innings, I don't think you're going to get the offense that's predicted or expected with this total. In fact, Fenway aside, it's not even like Boston, is this gigantic favorite in this game. So there's nothing really that would indicate Cole Irvin is going to be dominant here. But I just don't think either one of these teams at the plate truly have enough to get around the pitching issues or struggles or even concerns. I mean, look, we're day 3 in the rotation right now for 2 teams that are not expected to do much when it comes to what the Yankees or Rays are expected to do. That's all. That's just it. Just saying. With that, for me, though, this is a under 9.5. You get an early run or two, but an under 9.5. And that is one of our first locks right there. Absolutely. I love going under this total. And I would, again, shop because you can still get it at the time in which we're doing this at 9.5. Don't expect, even if a guy gets yanked, don't expect it to be close to that total. You want to roll comfortably under that at 9.5. We move on. Washington. Now, this here is not as expected, no rubber match or anything along those lines. But with Schuster on the hill and the Braves here now, or at least what's expected, I guess, from the Braves, the other part of it is just Gore. And if you're talking about a young Mackenzie Gore, the Braves bats are alive right now. And they're going to eat whoever's in front of them on this Washington team alive. So I'm looking at this thinking, well, much like we saw with just yesterday, Strider's appearance, the Braves are capable of getting 7 runs, 8 runs. That's what I would think a baseline would be, is 7.5. Team total. I know that's not what the team total is, but that's what my baseline would be. And you know what? If I can get 2 runs from the Nationals, I'm at 9.5, 10 runs. No doubt I think I can do that. I'm looking at it like I can get now 8 and 2, Braves, Nationals, respectively. I'm locked into an over 9. And you're going to get some offense. You're going to get the bats pretty heavy. So we might as well push on this and get 9 where it is and go over that. And that's a lean, but I like it. And I think that's probably, you hit me up in the comments and see where I am a little bit later in the day, but that's probably going to turn into a lock. At some point, I can see it turning into a lock. Cincinnati, at home, small park. Small park alert. It's Graham Ashcroft, though. It's Ashcraft. It's another one of those that we had a guy going. Thinking it was like John Ashcroft. No to the Pirates, no to Vince Velasquez, no to everything about this team. No, I don't. I refuse you. I refuse you in Pittsburgh. I hate everything about the theories that the Pirates are going to be better this year and that the Pirates have spent and that the Pirates have improved at whatever it is. No. We're on game 3. I understand that I have to at least look and say, well, okay, they haven't lost both games by any means, but they have blowout in them. They have outscored in them pretty bad. They have 1 or 2 innings that make or break, that will need, I should say, to make or break a game. I'm looking at this thinking Cincinnati, at home, just a slight advantage. And that's probably reflected in the money line, and I get that, but that doesn't mean it's wrong. Just because it's reflected or built in at minus 135 does not mean that the Reds are not the better team. And you know that they are the better team against this Pirates squad. Velasquez is certainly hittable and will be early, so I will lean Cincinnati money line. We keep it going here. Mets Marlins. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen this year with Trevor Rogers. I don't think you do either, so shut up as you're telling me in the chat. Well, you don't know. I do know that the Mets have been able to hit, and all of a sudden right now, they've been able to get over on a couple. And that's what's happened with this Marlins team, right? Where you saw the Mets just continue to do it. First it was the Nimmo, and then Saturday, once again, you had that, 6-2. But once again, they had to come back. Once again, after, 2 or 3 innings, you needed Pete Alonso to come lead this comeback. I think this is a cleaner game, and I'm not willing to say that Trevor Rogers is back, established, anything along those lines. But I'll give him a couple of innings. Like we've seen with the Mets need to just take some time to get rolling here. I think the best play is actually going under in the game. 8 runs is low. I understand it's low. but I'm willing to take that risk because I think both pitchers or the pitching approach for the Mets is going to be able to limit Miami. Miami is who we see they are, low scoring, can get on, but lower scoring. I'm not willing to push anything over 8 simply because it's 8 or you don't have aces on the hill. I don't need Trevor Rogers to be showing signs of domination. I need him to go out there and pretty much have his head on his shoulders. And I think I can get that by going under 8. That's a lock, by the way. That's a lock. I don't know what the hell that was. We keep it moving here. Kansas City's in the same spot they were on Saturday. I don't care. I'm right back to it. Maybe we just had the wrong pitcher. Because last year when it was Brad Keller, this type of theory paid out for us a little more often than not. So maybe I simply jumped the gun. That's all. Maybe when I was looking at it, it was more a matter of, oh, wait, I didn't combine that the Royals as a short home dog also need Brad Keller on the mound. Then you play him. Okay, that's fine. That's where we are. Brad Keller's on the mound. They're at plus 130 against Minnesota. I understand that Saturday's game, again, we talked about this team minus Brad Keller, so it's a little bit different. But look, they just got blanked. I mean, it was 2-0. Sonny Gray was okay, but the Royals couldn't do shit. So I'm not looking at that thinking, oh my goodness, panic, let's get off the boat here. It's just a matter of get back and still hack away. You'll be okay in this game against Joe Ryan. It's just you're going to bide your time. You're going to have to be a little more patient. That's fine. And they can do that, especially with a guy like Keller kind of riding the ship on the other end. That's all. It's a money line lean for the Kansas City Royals. Houston. Ooh, Houston. Minus 160 if you can shop and find it. If you can get minus 160, you have to play that. Don't play the run line. It'll be devalued because of that 160. I don't think that's worth it. The White Sox, you're sending Clevenger at the hill here, but it's more a matter of what are you going to do in this matchup Chicago-wise? Like, what are the White Sox going to be able to do to battle out of this thing? You drop 2 straight. I don't necessarily know how you turn around on this point, right? Like, that's a pretty big ask. You come out March 30th, opening day, thinking, wow, we got something here. Well, yeah. Dylan Cease is a big part of this shit. And then next thing you know, it's like, whoa, Houston, man. Like, we beat them, and then all of a sudden, they're not blowout. This is not like 15-run blowouts. I'm just saying at 160, that's still the same scenario here, which is you win by 1, you win by 2. You don't tempt this thing with the run line. But for the 4th day and 4th game, yeah, I'm willing to just take the better team to win the baseball game. That's exactly what we're doing. We're taking the better team to win the baseball game. That's why we're locking this thing up. Houston wins 3 of 4. They move on. Very simple. Chicago goes back to realizing, oh, shit, we're going to need to change some stuff and kind of go from there. That's all. All right, let's go to Seattle. Well, actually, no, wait. It's not Seattle. We'll get to that game in a second. This is the Blue Jays-Cardinals game. The Blue Jays game, I don't know how much you're going to find where you're going to get the offense expected. But I do like getting some power in this game. And this is the game in this series that I think you're going to see more of it. And look, the number has dipped as a result. I understand that. But there's also a matter of, and that's why I think St. Louis here, where we've just seen runs and giving up runs, that's just what we've seen so far. 24 combined runs in this series. 2 games in this series. I don't think that changes here. With Bassett and Montgomery on the hill, I think you're still going to get some offense. So we'll go over 8 St. Louis as a lean, mainly because I just don't think you're going to see a major change with this game. I don't. Or the series, for example. That's not enough for me to push this off. These two pitchers, that's what I'd look at. All right, 24 total runs. What's going to happen with this pitching matchup? Is it enough to move me off that? No, it's not. Okay, we go over St. Louis. It's pretty simple. We're in Wrigley right now. You know, I'm looking at this game with Eric Lauer on the hill, and there's a 9-run total. Chicago is the home favorite. Milwaukee, I mean, look, these two teams, low scoring. The pitching matchup has pretty much determined that for the most part. Are you going to get that now? The wild card is actually Taillon, right? Like, he's the wild card in what you saw last year with the Yankees. But moving Steele up, I mean, this was probably strategic here, right? Had that ERA part of me in the AL with the Yankees, just under 4. So talking my way more through this than not, because initially I was like, well, I'm just going to tail Lauer here. Is there a play on the total? No, we're just going to go Brewers money line. You know, I think that's really where it is a lean with the Brewers money line, making sure, of course, that we can insert that play, knowing that Milwaukee has the better pitcher here. Overall, Milwaukee just has the better pitcher, and that's what I'd like to side with. Keep it moving here. I told you I'm not going to waste your time. Talk through some stuff if it doesn't make a ton of sense, but we're not going to waste your time. Anderson Waldichuk. That's the pitching matchup for the Angels A's. It's in Oakland, meaning it doesn't matter, but Oakland's going to be shorted here or the underdog here. You're going to have to deal with that. So I don't like the Angels to win this game, but I recognize that every time you get deeper and deeper into a lineup, it's going to be a rotation here, whoever that is on the bullpen into the lineup. It's going to be tougher and tougher against these guys, Trout, Ohtani, and Rendon. I mean, it's going to be tough in general against that. So if I'm targeting the Angels, not tailing, targeting the Angels, what I'd want to do here is attack them in the first 5. Knowing I can get plus money, I'm going to look at Oakland first 5 on the money line. Money line. I don't need points or spread. I don't need a run, anything like that. I just need a straight up money line plus money play on Oakland to get to Anderson first. That's all. Just get to Anderson first. And hold, mind you, and hold. And we'll see how bad or shitty things are. But the Angels are not going to have that huge explosion again. And if it does, it's probably going to take 1 or 2 times through the lineup. That's why I'm willing to take that shot on the Oakland A's first 5 there. Let's keep it moving here. Cleveland on the money line. I told you we'd get to this game. Still leans. Cleveland on the money line. And I don't want to spend a ton on this. It's essentially a pick 'em. Marco Gonzalez, this is a earlier scenario that we laid out where I'm just not willing to trust one of these two pitchers. So by default, in a pick 'em, which is essentially as true as it gets on the books, -110, I'm going to take Cal Quantrill, and I'm going to take Cleveland. And I'm going to ride these two specifically on the money line, knowing that, the run line's not going to come into effect, anything like that. I don't want to flirt with the total. Still don't trust that either of these teams have the capability of consistently putting up a lot of runs. We know Cleveland can get on the bag, but that's different as far as transferring over into runs. So I don't need to push this thing by any means. Cal Quantrill is the guy I want to tail. That means the team that I'm going to bet is Cleveland on the money line. All right? Marco Gonzalez, a little too much, a little too iffy here. All right. Coming up, I have a lock. But let me tell you what's going on in the Discord. ES Insider. ES Insider is the code. You can use that, get your first week free. All right? Oh, pardon me, half off your first week. Sorry, half off your first week. ES Insider is the code. We got some cool stuff going on here. I'll show you. I'll run through it, and then you can get on out of here with a final game or two. But this is the stuff that we're doing. Multiple parlays, single game parlays, all this stuff. It's for you. It's all for you. ES Insider is the code. We would love it if you come by, say hello to myself, to Isaiah, to Lindy, to Ben, and we can all go from there. All right? Thank you. Now, final couple of games. I told you I had a lock. In fact, I have two of them. So, sandwiched in between the two locks is that that Padres Rockies game. But let's start with Arizona in town in LA. Let's start with the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Zach Davies, Noah Syndergaard, both of these guys are going to get pushed and popped and smacked around. Both of these guys are going to get roughed up. Both of these guys, it's going to be a problem out there for both, and they're going to get yanked. And it's going to be a lot of runs, high-scoring game, 8.5. I don't know if I get to 9 in the first 5, but I sure as hell am going to get over the first 5 total. Neither of these guys should be there in the 5th inning, to be honest with you. I'd be shocked if both were. Floored if both were in the 5th inning. So between Davies and Syndergaard, the play for me is to play off of that and say, all right, well, I don't want to just go over in the game. I want to go over in the first 5. That's a lock, folks. Lock. I feel super confident that the Dodgers and even Arizona, but if not, then one team is going to bang up the other pitcher enough that they will go over alone. So you have that scenario, I think, working for you here. Love this. Rockies, Padres, hey, not much to play off of. This game is quick. It's easy. I don't trust Colorado on the road right now. It's not because it's away from Coors. It's just I don't like Colorado in this baseball game. You don't like Colorado in this baseball game because you're waiting for something to fall. You're waiting for the other shoe to fall. You're waiting for this slipper. It can't. Right? Like at some point, it's going to happen where Colorado loses. And they lose bad. It's not even that they lose, but it's that they lose bad. They blow a lead, something like that. They've already beaten the Padres twice. Like, come on, it's going to happen. And then you see what happened last night coming into that with that mentality. So you think, all right, well, come on, tonight's the night. Well, I'm telling you that it is. It is. Lean Padres with me on the run line, will you? Lean in and take the Padres on the run line. Thank you. Thank you. That's what we'll do here. Thank you. I told you we got a lock. Last one. Philadelphia Phillies are in trouble, man. The Philadelphia Phillies just sat there and said, we're okay with Rhys Hoskins going down for the rest of the year. We're okay with Bryce Harper also going down for a long time. We're just going to bump the next man up. Where is that next man? Because Derek Hall, where is that next man? They might as well bump up an X-Man at this point because it doesn't matter. The Phillies are horrific because they have two of their top 2 guys who produced so much last year are gone. And you can't expect Trey Turner to just step in and say, don't worry, I got it. No. And you go to Rhys Hoskins, I'm not going to be here. I think we did that in the NBA. I'm sorry if we repeated it. But whoa, slow down. What you're missing, and I think ultimately what you've missed, is that Texas has improved themselves significantly from last season. And that also comes, which we just saw with Nathan Eovaldi, that also comes at the plate. The Rangers went out and said, we're not going to be dog shit. We're not going to be dog shit. We are going to spend. And the Phillies were like, we're okay. We just lost some guys, but we're okay. No, you're not. And you're not going to be able to score anything either. Except now. First 2 games were difficult to see, but there is still some offense, and it is still tough to get through a game against this Phillies team because whenever they wake up in that mid to back end of the game, they can definitely hit some bullpen arms. So, with that said, we end with a nice, fat, Texas-sized lock to go over 8.5. Thank you as always. Thumbs up, subscribe. Take advantage of that Bet365 money and join me, Lindy, Raza, Isaiah on the Discord, will you? See you Monday, 4 o'clock Eastern.